Hello and welcome everybody to Answers. Answers to a question that literally nobody has ever asked. What equipment do I need if I want to practice playing craps at home or teach my friends and family how to play craps at home? What equipment do I need? Buckle up, we're going to talk about it. We're going to focus mostly on chips, a little bit about gameplay and why I recommend the chips that I do. And this recommendation is just for a very small category of people, like myself, okay? So this is not, please don't run a craps game at your home. There's a house advantage. It's not like poker. It's just something I would not recommend actually trying to use real money at home. This is purely for instructional purposes. In my case, making YouTube videos. All right. So the things that you will need are some form of chip, okay, to prepare you for casino life, right? And like that's what I do with my friends. They come over, my family, just on Sunday. It's Tuesday when I'm filming this, so 2 days ago, I taught one of my buddies how to play craps. And so I used this layout and it was all set up, and I used these dice, which are some Tourist Trash New York dice. I don't know if that's going to show up. New York. Anyway, and you know, he picked it up real quick and no longer intimidated by craps, okay? So, chips. You will need some form of chip. Dice. You don't need 19 millimeter craps dice like this, okay? You can use Monopoly dice, Yahtzee dice, just six-sided dice, okay? You just need 2 of them, that's all you need. You can learn. Then you'll want a layout like this. This is a felt layout and a craps layout. And then an on-off button. I have a nice one, you know, very similar to like these dealer buttons, except it says on, off on it. I don't know where it is. It's in a box somewhere. It'll turn up tomorrow and it'll be really annoying after I publish this video, but I'm looking for it still. So I just took a Poker Chip Forum coaster. Tommy sent me this, Poker Chip Forum, longtime patron, supporter of the channel. I just took one of the Poker Chip Forum coasters. I wrote off on one side and I wrote on the other. Okay, so this is my on-off marker. All right, so those are the things you need. Layout, chips, dice, on-off marker. Things that you can use, more chips. Okay, you can use is it called a baton, whatever it is, the stick. You know how there's the stick person who pushes the dice in front of people? You can use a stick. You can use a dice tray where you put your dice, you know, to keep them out of the way. You could use, I don't know, a craps table, okay? So there are things that you can add, other accessories you can have, a little green visor that you can wear, whatever you want, okay? But these are kind of the basics to practice and learn how to play craps. So let's start with the chips real quick. These are custom chips I ordered from BR Pro Poker. Not a sponsor. I like BR Pro Poker. They make a good product, so I keep buying product from them. These chips right here, you can see there's a mix of these Monte Carlo chips. This is a mix of Amazon chips, which have flashing around the edges. When they mold the chip, they just leave the extra plastic from the molding process around it, and it's called flashing, and so you get these kind of sharp edges. And those are mixed with the smooth Monte Carlos, where they actually machine those sharp edges off, and so you get a smooth chip. From Apache Poker Chip, I've ordered some from Apache Poker Chips, and I've ordered some from the Poker Store. I recommend you go to Apache Poker Chips or the Poker Store and order some of the Monte Carlo chips there. In my opinion, they're better than the Amazon chips. And then, so we have some 5s, some 25s, and then we have some 100s here. These are, again, my custom chips. So is that on camera? Okay, and these are ceramic. These are Metal Slug ABS chips. We have the 5s and the 25s here. Okay, so the dice 19 millimeter, and then the layout's just a felt layout. The dice, the layout, the chips, lots of stuff you can buy on my Amazon shop. I'll put a link in the description below. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. You can even purchase an on-off button on the Amazon shop. All right, so that's kind of what you need. And let me explain why I do what I do. Okay. When I was playing craps through my mid-20s, probably a 15-year span, you know, I would play craps, and I believe it was the Excalibur. I think we tried another place too. I don't remember if it was downtown or if it was the Luxor. Either way, we found another place, but like generally it was the Excalibur. $5 min bets, which were great. You know, for $100, you could enjoy craps for a significant amount of time. The Bellagio, when I was playing $5 craps, had a min bet of 25. Last time I was in Vegas in January of 2024, this year, people in the future, 2024, Excalibur, I saw a $15 min bet. And correct me if I'm wrong, it changes, it seems like all the time. $15 min bet in Bellagio, I saw a $50 min bet. Don't know if that still plays out. Let me know in the comments below. I understand it varies. I was talking to a dealer and they said that it can change. I don't know what that means, or it depends or something. I don't remember exactly what they said, but they made it sound like it's not all the tables are 15. So I don't know if they were talking about a higher roller room or something. I don't know how it works. But anyway, so 15, 25, or 50 min bet. We're going to use 25s today for ease of use, okay? So when I'm looking for chips, I want at least 100, and this is just for me teaching my friends and family how to play craps. I want at least 100 of the minimum denomination. So whether that be $5 or $25. If you're going to play downtown, my understanding is they still have $5 tables there. You would practice with fives. If you're going to the strip, you know, you might want to practice with 25s or hundreds, you know, whatever you're comfortable with, okay? So today we're going to use the 25s, and I like to have 100 of the min, and I usually like having another stack of the larger denomination, just in case one of my friends or family goes on a hot streak. There's nothing worse than, you know, the bank, you know, the house running out of chips. You're just like, you won lots, and can I get a loan because the house needs chips to pay out the rest of the bet? Yeah, so I like to have a stack of like the larger denominations, so like 25s with the 5s or hundreds with the 25s, whatever you're playing. Okay, so that's it. So those are the chips. The dice, it's an occasion, okay? So I like having 19 millimeter craps dice like these. Again, you can buy them on Amazon. Look, they're serialized 302. So your friend doesn't bring dice, you know, sneak dice in that are loaded and then they throw those. Instead, you can tell that they're serialized for security. Totally doesn't make a difference because craps is purely educational and instructional. Okay. So in my house, it doesn't even matter. Bring your own dice. I don't care. So, but they're serialized. I think it's cute. That's why I like talking about it. These come in a box. I just barely opened these, with some foil and these things. There's a warning here. I don't know. And then it's blue, right? So they're just Amazon 19 millimeter craps dice. Again, use any dice you want, okay? And then the felt, the layout, you can literally just take a piece of poster board and just like write the stuff out on it. You don't have to buy it. You can do this for nothing, right? Just, you know, cut out a bunch of paper and use those as chips. Use animal crackers. I don't know. Get a poster board and write all this stuff down on it. Just copy it and then get a piece of paper and write on off on it. Okay. I mean, it's not hard to practice or learn how to play craps, but that's the equipment I like for the occasion to help my family and friends. So $5, we're going to put these aside as we're going to play $25 min. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. I'll tell some stories as I give these examples. But so what happens is these go in the middle. It's kind of off screen. I don't have tons of real estate here. These will generally go in like the dice tray. And so when I rolled up, so here's my first experience playing craps. Let's roll in the fives here. Okay. So when I first rocked up to a table, this is example number 1. Let's call it that. When I first rocked up to a table, I just wanted to shoot dice and I wanted to, and so I was with 3 friends. Okay. We're waiting at the Excalibur for another group of friends. And so one of my buddies and I, my third friend had zero interest in gambling. He was not a gambler. Oh, you're going to lose all your money, whatever. I'm not here to have fun kind of people. And he's like, I have $100, you know, let's go see if we can shoot some craps. And he's like, do you know how to play craps? I'm like, no. And he's like, let's go see if we can figure it out. There was nobody at the table. It didn't seem that intimidating. So I go over there and I'm like, you know, and I know how to play table games. So I was like, oh, can I have change? So I put my, you know, 5 20s down and they, you know how dealers do. They very professional, 1, 2, 3, 4, $100. You know how they do this with their hands. They put it in the thing and then they, you know, go like this, you know, with the chips and, you know, and then put that in front of me, okay? There are your chips. And I was like, sweet, okay? So the only thing that I'd heard about craps is from my dad, okay? My dad was not a craps player. He was a roulette guy, okay? That was his thing. He had a system. It never worked. And so he said, if you want to roll the dice, you just need to make a pass line bet. He's like, you need to make a pass line bet. I don't know if that's true. My understanding is you can do a don't pass or pass line, and that's what I always do, but usually I like pass line because there's a social aspect of craps, and that's why we play, so we can all be gambling together instead of each at our own little machine or poker against each other. So craps feels very much like like a team thing, right? Where we're all on the same team, we're all playing together. That's why my friends and I like playing craps, okay? So he told me that you need to make a pass line bet, and I know now you can also do don't pass to play craps. But can you roll the dice if you just make a prop bet? Let me know in the comments below. I thought if you wanted to throw the dice, you need to have a pass or don't pass bet. Not sure if that's true. Anyway, so what I did I was like was I 24, 23, 24, 25? I was in my mid 20s. I don't remember how old I was. I just put a pass line down. Okay, and then something confusing happened right off the bat. Okay, I was like, oh, they're gonna, you know, and so the stick person pushes up 5 dice, and immediately I felt like, and I said, I thought I'm only supposed to roll 2 dice, and they're like, and they were very professional. They're like, oh yeah, just choose the 2 luckiest dice, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I grabbed 2, and then they took the other 3 back and they put it in, you know, they put them away, and so already feeling kind of self-conscious, I was like, you know, can I roll? They're like, yeah. And so I roll. I don't remember what I rolled, but, oh, there's a 7 right there. That's a win right there. So the pass line. Okay, so now we're just going to dive into our example, okay? So that was my first experience. And then after that, you know, I won a couple. I lost like 4. I think I was into it like $20 when I was like, we need to go. Okay. And my buddy actually lost like less. He lost like $10 or something. Either way, we were there for like a good 10 minutes and we had fun. And it was just kind of like, we broke the ice just making a pass line bet. Okay. And $5 min. Okay. But we're going to switch modes here for our example. Okay. So let's say you want to be like me. Okay. And you just want to roll the dice. You're not looking for action. You just kind of want to, you know, break the ice, just kind of get a feel for it. Just want to throw some dice, waste some time for the least amount possible. Okay. Now people go back and forth because there's odds bets pay true odds, which they say it'll cost you less statistically if you're making good bets than if you just make min bets on the pass line. I get all that, but I'm talking about the least intimidating. This is the first way I try to play craps, and you can decide what you want to do. So let's say you rock up and you put your cash down, they give you your chips, okay? Your chips cannot be on the felt, so you be sure you put those up in your tray on the side of the craps table, okay? Nothing on the felt, no drinks, nothing, okay? So keep that pretty clean. And then you put your pass line bet down, okay? A pass line bet is a contract bet. Once a point is established, you cannot lift that bet off, okay? So I'll talk about establishing a point here in a minute. So that's how I start, and that's how I know, you know, maybe you can do other bets, but this can be a pretty long process, and you can roll sometimes an awful lot with your pass line bet, which gives you lots of rolls for your bet. If you make a prop bet, so somebody else is rolling, I've seen people make prop bets when somebody else is rolling, and it's just like one and done, okay? So this is generally how I like to roll. There's all sorts of weird puns and things, whatever in that. So, you know, what happens is, you know, they give you your change, you know, you can put your pass line bet down. They'll wait for a second. Let's see if anybody else comes. And then, you know, they'll push those dice over to you. You grab 2 or whatever, if you're a new shooter. And then you do what's called a come out roll. Okay. So you grab those dice and you throw them all the way down to the other end against the pyramid rubber or alligator rubber or bumper or whatever you want to call it. Okay, all the way down the other side of these large aircraft carrier Las Vegas strip 12-foot craps tables. Okay, I'm just going to roll here for the video. Okay, So that's an 8, okay? And I love playing craps too because the crew is very entertaining, right? The dealer, the stick person, whoever calls them out, just make great calls. They're like, no field, 8, you know, whatever. And they'll say, mark the 8, okay? So at that point, so this is how you establish a point. You have a pass line bet. This is the come out roll, which means that you've established a point. So this marker gets flipped to the on position and they'll put it up here, generally kind of way up here. I'm going to put it here for the camera, but you're going to see when you go to the casino, they put him up here, even further up here. So they'll mark the 8, okay? So that means, and this is what I was talking about, this isn't just a one, it's not necessarily a one roll bet. You establish a point, and the goal is to roll this number before a 7. If you roll this number before a 7, this pass line bet pays 1-1. So if I rolled an 8, again, this would come out and they would give me that, and I would have that as a winning, okay? But the pass line bet before this, so if I didn't roll an 8, okay, so when this was still off and I rolled the dice, if I had rolled a 7 or an 11, they say yo 11 for some reason. I think someone told me it was because they don't want you to be confused hearing 7 versus, because 7 and 11 sound alike, so they say yo 11. I'm not sure if that's true. Let me know in the comments below. So if I rolled a 7 or an 11, this bet wins. Okay, they wouldn't establish a point. This bet just wins. So they just put a chip out and you're good. You roll an 11, you win a chip. You roll a 7, you win a chip. You roll an 8, they mark the 8. You roll a 2, 3, or 12, you lose. So they just pick that up. And they, I forgot what they said. It craps, or you craps out or something, or like 2 craps or whatever. I can't remember what they say. And they'll take your pass line bet. 2, 3, and 12. I think that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's just how I remember it. Just flying by the seat of my pants here. All right. So in this case, I did not roll a 7 or an 11. I didn't win. I didn't roll a 2, 3, or 12. So they mark the 8. Now that there's a point established, the rules change. A 7 is bad now. An 11 does nothing. 2, 3, 11, 12 do nothing now. There are 2 numbers that matter. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. There are 2 numbers that matter. The 8 and the 7. 8, I win. 7, I lose. Okay, so, you know, they'll pull these off towards the center. There's usually a little like box, like lines on the felt, and they'll just put it in the middle of the table. And that's when you can make your bets, okay? And the second, I'm going to show you how I do it now, but this is how I played initially, okay? $25 min bet on the pass line, and then they'll wait for other people to make bets. They'll wait for you to make an odds bet, because you can bet odds here. They'll wait for come bets. They'll wait for prop bets. They'll wait, okay? And then at some point, they say something along the lines, I forget what they say. They're like, no more bets. And then the stick person will push the dice back in front of you, okay? So let's see what we get. All right, so we rolled a 4, okay? And so again, they make the fun calls. They're like, pay the field, you know, 4, you know, and whatever. And so that number has no effect on our, so you see how many times I've rolled, what, 2 times now, and I'm still rolling with my 1 bet, okay? So that's, you know, they go through the whole betting cycle. Everybody who wants to bet, and then they finally like say no more bets, and they push the dice back in front of you. You roll again, all the way down the table. Okay, 9. You can see not a 7, not an 8, no bearing on my pass line bet. Sweet, you know. And my thinking when I first was playing, I was like, I get to shoot again. So, you know, wait for everybody to finish bet. They push that back in front of you. You roll again, and you hit a 6. Okay, missed the number, but I'm still rolling. I get to roll again. It was so, you know, it's just fun, you know. And your friends are like cheering you on. They're like, come on, hit a 5. In this video, we're not going to talk about a lot of this. We're not teaching you how to play craps. I'm just showing you why I like recommending these chips. Okay, so you roll again, 6. Okay, not an 8. 6 again, 7. Okay, and then how many times did I roll? So you can see you can roll a lot, even when you're losing. And it feels like you're getting your money's worth because you're getting entertainment. Every roll has that excitement. And if your friends are playing too, then it's like, yes. Okay, so the best thing that could happen is if I rolled an 8 and it said, you know, they're like 8, you know, winner pay the line or whatever they say. And they'll put a chip down here and you pick that up and then you restart the point. And then you have another come out roll, and they'll push the same 2 dice in front of you because you won, and those are lucky. Okay, if you do what I did and you just craps out, like, then they pick this up and they pull this back. There's no, and they'll turn this off, and there's nobody else at the table. You know, then it's up to you. Do you want to play again or not? So they'll look at you and they'll wait. And if you put down a pass line bet, they'll push all 5 of these out. Because you crapsed out, those 2 dice are unlucky. You want to choose 2 lucky ones, okay? So they'll let you choose again if you craps out. Okay, and then you go again. Okay, so here's example number 2, where we're going to do the odds line bet, which is how I like to play, because I like playing the odds, but I don't like just stacking come bets or don't come bets on here. I understand odds and stuff. I understand the don't pass is slightly better. I understand you can load up the don't come. I get it. Odds bets are great. I get it. Okay. But this is how I like to play. Okay. And this is not a recommendation. You don't have to do it. Don't do this. You play how you want to play. But this is how I do it. Okay. And this is why, and I'm doing this to demonstrate why I like having 100 of these when I'm teaching 3 or 4 people how to play craps. Okay. So again, you just do a pass line bet. That's all to start out with, okay? And they're going to push these in front of you. New shooter, you know, you're going to grab 2. You're going to have your come out roll where you're trying to establish a point, roll a 7 or an 11, okay? So in this case, 4, you know, mark the 4. The 4 is way over here. I'm just going to, turn this on. I'm going to put this here so you can kind of see, but remember, we're shooting for a 4, even though it's kind of off camera. So when I played, and again, this might have changed. When I played, there was a maximum odds bet you could place. 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3. So 3, 4, 5x, your initial pass line bet. And it's very important to stand by the table and look at the sign and understand what's going on before you start playing. Because I've seen places downtown, I've seen ridiculous, is it 12x your initial bet for some of these? It can get pretty intense, but your odds bet is the casino pays true odds. Now, be careful here, because in order to make an odds bet, you need a pass line bet where the casino has at least a 1% advantage. I think it's more than 1% advantage on this bet. So technically, in the macro scheme of things, you don't have true odds, but that little microcosm of that one particular bet does pay true odds. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go with that, okay? So the 4 is in the 3x category. Okay, so 3, 4, 5x, 3, 4, 5x. Just from outside in, you're more likely to roll a 6 or an 8 than you are a 10. So the 10 pays better than the 3. Okay, and it's also convenient because when you make, so you can do 3x, your initial pass line bet. Okay, so in this case, $75. If I were to win that 4, okay, so to make an odds bet, you take this and you just put it right here, 3x, okay? And if you do it wrong, don't worry about it. The dealers will tell you, oh, excuse me, the max odds bet is only 3x in the situation. Oh, okay. And then you can figure it out, okay? They'll help you. You can literally ask them, so what's my max odds bet? And they'll help you out. So don't be intimidated. You just ask, communicate if it's not sure. Like, oh, the 4, and you don't remember. So what's my max odds bet? And they'll tell you, and like, oh, okay. And you put it down here. Okay. Now, if I win this bet, okay, so this is if I roll a 4 before a 7, what happens is I double, it's 6 to 3 odds on that. Does that make sense? So it would be $150 for my $75 bet. And let me know if I'm saying that wrong. 6 to 3. So this would be my winnings if I rolled a 4. My pass line gets paid 1 to 1. My odds bet gets paid 6 to 3. And that I could take all of that home with me. Okay. So now you imagine you're teaching 4 family members to play. Look how many chips you need, okay? That is your payout here, okay? That's a big chunk. Oh, but remember, they have their bets out too. So their bets, with their odds, you can see like how quick these chips disappear. Okay, so that's, you know, two-fifths of the chips are just gone after one payout. They do that 3 times in a row, you're busted, right? You have, oh, my 100 chips are gone, and you need to dive into your, can I get change? You know, it happens. People go on hot streaks. So that's why I like having at least 100, if not more. Okay, so I'm just explaining why the breakdown of just tons of the same denomination. It's not exciting. You know, it's not like poker where you get all these bright different colors and everything. The focus is on the dice and what you're rolling. Okay, so none of that has happened. So let's see what does happen, okay? I can tell you right now, very unlikely to roll a 4 before a 7. So in this case, and this is how I play, I just like to roll dice and, you know, I have my odds bet. I don't need to do come bet after come bet or whatever, okay? I see people like, I think they're hedging. People do don't come and the pass line, I don't know. Anyway, so 9, pay the field 9. I love the calls that they make. 6, and 6 the hard way, prop bet. 8, 7, there's the 7, craps out. So this, they take that, and next shooter, move that to the off position. Okay, so I hope that, well, here, maybe we should establish another point. So let's do another bet. Okay, I'm gonna do something different here. The Excalibur has a $15 min bet. So let's play that for a minute. Okay, so let's take 15. Okay, so we're gonna make the min pass line bet here. Whatever, we're not gonna go through all the formalities. This is off, we're gonna roll. Okay, so the point's established at a 5. So this goes to the 5. I'm gonna put it here so you can see it. And normally, from what I've seen, what I remember, and my memory's a little foggy, I seem to remember them putting it way up here. That's just my memory. Anyway, so the point's established at the 5. So I have a 4x max bet, okay? And so one way to do that is, this is how I like to do it. I just like to cut chips, right? So I know that if I put my stack next to that and I cut that, that's 3. And remember, this is a contract bet. The point's established. I cannot pick up this pass line bet. Okay, so that's 3, and I can do 4x, okay? You can see how I'm burning through tons of chips here. That's 4x, which is my max odds bet, okay? And that's a honker stack of chips right there, and I'm putting that as odds. Oh, snap, okay. So again, $15 min, okay? So the point's established, everybody's ready, no more bets. You throw it all the way across. I'm just gonna roll here, a 5. Oh, I hit it. I hit the 5, okay? Again, it's not a valid roll because I didn't throw it 12 feet down and didn't hit the alligator rubber. But at that point, all of a sudden, I'm getting 6 to 4 odds on this bet. So that means for this, I'm going to try to do it visually here, okay? I don't want to confuse anybody. So for this, you get 6 to 4. So each one of these stacks of 3, I get 6 stacks of 3 as payout. Does that make sense? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holy smokes, that's a lot of chips. Yeah, it is. And so real quick, you're like, what is that? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 chips right there. And if you break this down into 5s, you could, you know, and this is why you want the higher denomination. So to pay it out, instead of giving them all these 5s, I would say there's 1, 2, 3, and that's your payout right there. There you go, okay? And plus it's 6, 2, 4, so you pull this as well. So all of these go back into your tray, okay? And then you have a new come out roll, okay? So I'm just gonna put them back here by me, okay? And so the point is off now because you hit your number, and you know, they're gonna wait for everybody to finish betting, and they're gonna use the same dice because you just won that point. They're not gonna roll all 5 up to you because these are lucky because you just hit your point, you won. They're gonna throw those, you know, push those back up to you, and you get a roll again, a new come out roll, 10, you know, if that were 11, you would have won that bet, but it's a 10. So they're going to mark the 10. They'll flip this over, mark the 10, and now you're trying to hit a 10. And remember, your bet on a 10 is 3x. At least when I played, and you have to understand the rules of the casino and the table that you're playing at. Okay, so 3x is my max bet. So that's what that looks like. And then, you know, I'm trying to hit that 10, okay? And in this case, I hit a 9, 8. If I hit a 7, there's another 9, 7, okay? And don't say 7 when you're at the table. There's lots of superstition in craps, okay? And at that point, the dealer just picks up your bets and you can place another pass line bet and you can keep going. The point is off. Okay, so that's why I like having 100 chips with an extra stack of the larger ones. Hope that helps. And again, in my opinion, it's always better to have too many chips than not enough chips. And I like the occasion of real felt and 19mm craps dice. Again, all available on my Amazon shop. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. Let me know if you find this interesting. Do you want to see us? When my friends come over, we could play craps and you can see kind of the flow of the game as I remember it. Again, I'm not a professional dealer, and so I'm going to get feedback. People are going to tell me, no, you're wrong about this. That's not the min bet. That's not how that works. Okay, I'm open to all of that criticism, but I want to kind of share this fun I have playing craps with everybody else, especially with the poker chips. They're just so great. So as usual, huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. I really need to thank Poker Chip Forum. Tommy has been a longtime supporter of the channel. Go check out the Poker Chip Forum channel. I'll put a link in the description below. Tommy, you know, always publishing great content and very insightful. So thank you everybody for watching. My name is John Hobby.